Hi, everyone. Welcome to our Diversity at BU Belmont Live events. My name is Lauren Lozon, and I am the Director of Graduate Health Science Admissions here at Belmont. I am also the co-chair of our Anti-Racist for Admissions Committee for Staff in the Enrollment Services Divisions. We're really excited that you all are here tonight with us virtually. And the purpose of this event is for you to have a snapshot of what diversity looks like through the lived experience, through the lens of current students here at Belmont. And I am joined by several staff and current students here at Belmont to kind of share their experiences. And on the staff side, the services that we offer to support students in their success and in their time here at Belmont. So I'm going to have our student panelists introduce themselves, and then we'll have our staff members also introduce themselves and give a little bit of an overview of some of the services that we offer here in supporting our students in their journey and education here at Belmont. And then I will turn it over to you all as the attendees to ask questions of us. And so what you'll do, and I'll prompt you when we'll get ready to do the Q&A portion of the event, but there is a question and answer feature of the webinar, and you'll put your questions in there, but I'll let you know when it's time to do that. So I will start out by having our students tell us their names, their pronouns, where they're from, how they identify, and then what they're involved in on campus. So I will call on Gilbert first.
Hi, how's it going, everybody? My name is Gilbert Feliciano III. I was born in Bayamón, Puerto Rico, but I do live in Miami. My major is music business with an emphasis in international music business. I identify as Latino and my pronouns are he, him. Some of the organizations I'm in campus include the Hispanic Student Association. I'm involved with a lot of student ran bands, if you would call it. I play saxophone on the side. So there's a couple shows that go on here on campus. And yeah, I'll have to answer some questions.
Thank you, Gilbert. I'll call on Helen next.
Hi, my name is Helen Nyoksi. I am from Jinja, Uganda. I'm a double major in international business and global leadership studies. I identify as she, her, and I'm an international student.
Thank you, Helen. And I'll call on Gabriel next.
Hi, everybody. My name is Gabriel, or Gabe DeGrave. I am from Casper, Wyoming. I study politics and public law here at Belmont. My pronouns are he, him. I identify as male. And I am really involved in just one organization on campus called Bruin Recruiters, which is one of the programs that works with the Office of Admissions.
Thanks, Gabriel. And then Hope, if you'll go next.
Hi, everyone. My name is Hope Dennis. My pronouns are she, hers. I'm from Atlanta, Georgia. My major is faith and social justice. I identify as Black, African American. And then some organizations that I'm a part of is Black Student Association, Hope Council, Bruin Recruiters, and different diversity, equity, inclusion councils.
All right. Thanks to our students. And then I will have our staff members go next, starting with Dr. Karshonda Martin.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Karshonda Martin, and I am the Assistant Provost of Student Success and Flourishing here at Belmont. I've only been working at Belmont a little over 3 months now, and so I have been charged to really explore and reimagine what student success will look like here at Belmont University. Our goal, and we're devoted and committed to making sure that all students are able to be successful and flourish here at Belmont University. We want to enrich the lives of our students by focusing on their growth and shaping of a student body, building skills to help them be successful all the way through graduation, and enhancing the overall quality of the student life experience and well-being. And we do that by some of the programs and events that we have that facilitate the overall student success. And so some of the things out of our area, we have GPS, which is our academic student support services, where student can get a little bit more of academic coaching to go along. And then we have our learning centers and writing centers where students can get a little more enhancement and opportunities to get some feedback and help in those areas. We have our career and professional development team that really just focuses on helping the students find out what they're passionate about and give information about careers. And then we have our Belmont Central, which is our one-stop shop on campus where any student can go for any of the needs that they have. So we want to help in the whole formation of the students, and we do that starting with when you're admitted into Belmont University all the way through graduation, and we have support and services to be able to help the needs of all students. And so I look forward to working with you all in the future, and if you have questions, just let me know. But again, Karshonda Martin, my pronouns are she, her. I'm from Morristown, Tennessee, and Johnson City, Tennessee, and again, I've been here for a little over 3 months. Thanks.
All right, then I'll have Elena go next.
Hi, everyone. My name is Elena Wisniewski, and I am the coordinator for the Office of Accessibility Services here at Belmont. The main goal of the Office of Accessibility here is to oversee Belmont's reasonable accommodation process for students with disabilities so that we can provide equal access to university programs and services consistent with both the Americans with Disabilities Act and also Section 504 of the Rehabilitation Act. To be registered with our office, students requesting reasonable accommodations first need to be admitted to Belmont, and then we determine your eligibility of services once you reach out to us. Some of the services that we provide access to class notes, exam accommodations. We do our best to provide accessible instructional materials, so that can look like changing course materials to an e-text or accessible format. We also try to provide accessible classrooms in the form of accessible desks, among others. And then we also engage in liaison services. And this looks like referrals to other on-campus or off-campus resources in a variety of different areas. We can also help in any navigation with vocational rehabilitation services. One thing I do like to let new students know about is that I like to talk about our getting registered process. And so to do that, just know that you'll need to accept your offer of admission and then review the documentation guidelines on our website, which if you just put in Belmont accessibility into any of your search engines, our website should pop up. On that website, you will also find our accommodation request application. Just a little quick note, it's going to be best to complete that application and upload your documentation by July for those of you that are incoming students. If we receive that documentation and that application in August, there is a minimum 2-week turnaround time to schedule your orientation with us. So the sooner we can get that application and that documentation in, the better. And then if we approve you for accommodations, your next step will be to complete the OAS orientation meeting with someone in our office when you arrive in August. And real quick, I just kind of wanted to go over a quick little student story. And so right when the College of Law started, we did have a student with vision loss who reached out and needed accommodations. They also needed course materials in a format that was compatible with a text-to-speech software and books in a digital format. And we were able to work with that student, the publisher of those books, as well as the vendor, and we were able to convert those materials into accessible formats. The student also needed exam accommodations, so we worked with the professor and the dean to implement those. This student graduated successfully and used accommodations on the Tennessee bar exam to become a practicing attorney. So if you are having concerns about attending a university, we do just want to let you know that the Office of Accessibility is here for those of you who may have a disability. We used to serve less than 100 students, but that number has grown to over 800 students as the university has grown, and that will continue to grow. So we have seen a lot of growth lately, which has been exciting. And then on our website, you will be able to see our contact information. We are on the second floor of the Beeman Student Life Center. So when you get on campus, you can ask somebody where that's located. We are in the Dean of Students office suite. And then our email is accessibility.services@belmont.edu. And that's a good way to get in touch with us if you have any questions or if you're trying to send us your documentation. So thanks for letting me share a little bit about my office. Like I said, my name is Elena Wisniewski. My pronouns are she, her, and I am actually from Auburn, Alabama.
Thank you all for introducing yourselves and telling us a little bit about your offices. We are having a little technical difficulties with the video, so thanks for hanging in there with us. But I did want to go ahead and let our attendees ask some questions that you have about the student experience at Belmont. We have students from all different backgrounds and who are involved in a lot of different things on campus. And so I want you all as prospective students to have a chance to ask our current students any questions that you have about that experience. So I do have some questions coming in the chat. And the first one is, they got their accommodations from the Offices of Accessibility Services and was just wondering how to reach out for that. So you'll want to reach out to Elena, and I will send out, or I'll make sure that we get out the contact information for the Office of Accessibility Services and then Dr. Martin's office as well, if you have those specific questions. But if anyone has any questions about involvement, the student experience, we're happy to field those too. The first one I have for you guys while we're waiting for some of those to roll in are, how did you find your community on campus? So whoever wants to pop in and answer that, go for it.
I can answer that question. This is Hope. Sorry you all can't see me. I'm having trouble starting my camera. So I'm African American. I'm from Atlanta, Georgia, and coming to Nashville was a bit scary for me because it was very different from what I was used to. And it was a bit intimidating for me first coming on campus, and I was nervous that I wouldn't find my community. But Black Student Association kind of really saved my freshman year because they do an event called the BSA Cookout. Right at the bell tower. If you ever visited campus, it's where the big bell is that goes off at the top of every hour. And I was able to go there and I got to meet students that looked like me, had a similar culture and background like me. And that just gave me a sense of security and a sense of safety. And then since then, like having that support of other students who have gone through Belmont, a good bit of the students who are from Nashville, it allowed me to feel a bit more comfort in stepping out and trying other organizations and trying other community groups even outside of Belmont. So it took me a second, but honestly, Bruin League Fair also was a huge help. And just like taking that step of faith and just putting myself out there by showing up to these events. And being honest when I met students about feeling nervous or feeling intimidated or feeling like I want to feel like I belong, because you're not alone in that feeling. And the students here want you to feel like you belong. They want to feel like this is a place that you can call home. So that's kind of my story.
If I can add on to Hope, I completely understand where Hope comes from. And I all in all feel close to the exact same way. I came from Miami, one of the biggest melting pots in the entire country for culture in terms of Hispanics and Latinos. And making that step to the middle of Tennessee, it's like am I going to find any of my culture here? And, it's not as much as I thought it would be, right? It has exceeded my expectations. There is support for the Latino community here, and HSA really does help that, and it gives you a nice voice. But I think the biggest important thing is here is that you're able to teach other students. A lot of our students they're just open to learning more about cultures. And when I go, when a big thing is in the CAF, when I run into my friends and stuff like that, I show them some Latin music and they're all open to it. And that's really cool to see, where it gives me a certain different perspective. Like, rather than enjoying my culture, now I get to teach it. So I can understand Hope's perspective completely.
Anyone else want to take a stab at that?
Yeah, I can. One of the ways that Belmont really gets students involved is all the clubs and organizations outside of just the diversity organizations. And that's can be in the ways of faith-based experience, if that's something you're looking for. But there's over 160 or something like that student organizations and clubs on Belmont's campus. And there's really one for just about anything a student could want. If you talk to any student, they'll talk about the community at Belmont. You could line up 10 students and ask them their favorite thing about Belmont, and almost every one of them would say the community. And the community is something that really makes everybody feel accepted and appreciated and loved at Belmont. And that's one of the great things that I've found here at Belmont. My freshman year, I came in during COVID. And so my whole first year at Belmont was me stuck in a room. We didn't have any organizations to be a part of or anything like that because there were no meetings. But the second year, as things started to open back up, I joined some organizations and I've been able to find that community and find my people as well.
All right, and then I wanted to ask, what does diversity mean to you at Belmont? So what are ways that plays out here at Belmont as a student? What ways have you appreciated being a part of the community? And this kind of goes off of the last question that we asked too.
I could answer that. I think for me, diversity means, in one word, I would say being inclusive. And I have seen that at Belmont, coming from overseas and not knowing the culture and just emerging into a place where I'm literally almost learning everything from zero. I have kind of seen that at Belmont. They host different events. As an international student, they host events from different cultures. I think tonight they have the Indian engagement where you can go and try their food and learn about India. That is something that has been big for me when it comes to diversity at Belmont. It's very open and you can get a little bit of everyone's culture and learn new things.
I would also like to piggyback on this answer. One of the organizations I'm a part of is Hope Council. It is not named after me. We just share the same name. This has been an organization on campus since 2013, founded by faculty and staff. And its whole purpose is to make sure that different cultures and backgrounds feel included on campus. And so one of the traditions at Belmont is World Culture Week, which we just had the week before last. Where different cultures and different affinity group clubs like Japanese Culture Club, Chinese Culture Association, Black Student Association, Hispanic, it's a lot of them, come together and they get to share their culture. And we have student concert where students get to like sing in different languages and show different cultural dances, and they get to share their food. We even invite local businesses to come on campus and food trucks. And so that's one of the things that Belmont has done for years. And they get to continue, we hopefully get to continue to do. That it's also fun because you do it like at the end of second semester, so it's a way to end off the year on top of us having diversity week, which happens in the fall of every school year.
Well, oh, cool. What diversity means to me, when I was really worried. I come from a non-Christian background. I'm not a religious student myself, and I was really worried about being able to fit in. And that's one of the ways that I see diversity at Belmont, is that diversity of ideas. And I've been able to find a really good community that shares some of my beliefs, but also people that don't share my beliefs, but are very open to learning about it. Exactly what Gilbert was saying. There's a lot of people, and even though they may not be from the same background as you, they're always open to learning about your background and learning more about the world around them, which is something I found very unique here at Belmont.
All right, what are some ways that you all have gotten involved in the Nashville community, or how have you felt that the Nashville community partners with Belmont and certain interests that you have or groups that you're involved in on campus?
I can I can answer this one pretty well. So outside of Nashville, there's so much opportunity. This was the question that I was expecting. I love Nashville as a whole. There's an opportunity for absolutely anything you want to do. And like I said, I'm a saxophone player. I'm used to playing in Latin bands, salsa bands, bachata, all those other styles of music. And I couldn't really find it back home in Miami, but surprisingly, there's more of that music being played here. There's big venues like Plaza Mariachi. Rudy's Jazz Club does a show every Monday that I used to do from 9:30 to 11. And you'll hear some music where it kind of teaches random crowds every week that um it teaches crowds about like the actual style, because what they do is they put in Stevie Wonder songs and Michael Jackson or Sade all into Latin rhythms and stuff. And that's the cool part about everything. There's always something to do here in Nashville. And yeah, it's awesome. Nashville's a cool place.
One of the great ways around Nashville that I found is just seeing the city. I come from and this is like all the different sides of Nashville. I come from a very similar community. There's not a lot of differentiating, a lot of diversity where I come from. So we don't have a Hispanic population in my state, not really. And so I've never been exposed to that culture or that food until I came here. And that's something I really love, is food. And so being able to come to a city and experience Hispanic food or Indian food and all these different types of cuisines has been really amazing for me, just to get to experience that as well.
Also, if you guys like Mexican food, this place is the bomb. You go to a random food truck next to a gas station, you'll have anything you want there, and it is cheap and good.
And I wanted to ask if you all feel like you can be your authentic selves at Belmont.
I can answer this question. I feel like I can. One of the things I talk about as a Bruin recruiter, I get students who are of color, specifically Black students, that will ask me, what is it like being a Black student at Belmont? And I'm honest when I say, for me, it was an adjustment at first. I think that it's important to make that clear so that students of color aren't under the impression like, is there something wrong with me because I'm coming on campus, and I don't automatically feel like that's okay. And I do feel like I can be my authentic self. And it helps knowing that there are organizations such as Black Student Association, Hispanic Student Association, and so forth, Hope Council, that want to make sure that I'm supported in that sense. And it also helps that the faculty, staff, and the other students here, even if they don't share your lived experience, they want you to feel like you can be your authentic self. And even outside of just racial, ethnic, and cultural diversity, just personality wise, there are so many unique students here. And so there's no other option but to be your unique self when you're at Belmont. Like, there's so many different amazing people here that have different interests, and live different lifestyles. And this is just a plethora of people you can meet here. And that's one of the things that make it almost easier to be different here, because everybody is different. And so that's really helpful. So I feel like I can be my authentic self, and I make sure that when I'm meeting other students, prospective students, or younger classes, like freshmen and sophomores, I make sure that they also know, like, be your full self, be proud of who you are, be proud of how you were made to be, and like be that loud and proud, because this is your college experience and you are in control of how much you're going to enjoy it.
I can add on to this as well. Not only like as like campus services and different organizations, they encourage you to be yourself, but you're really encouraged in the classroom as well. Like that's something that's not really spoken about, but a lot of professors here at Belmont, like one that I can speak off right off the top, that as soon as I heard this question, I thought of his name, is Dan Keene. Like, he's a music publishing professor, and he's a character. He's a young soul, and he's always asking me, he's like, Gilbert, what new music do you have that's a little Latin flavor? What did you hear? Like, and there's stuff where a lot of these professors, they just enjoy that, and they like to be educated as well. And because, what you don't know, you don't know. And it's really cool how much support you just get from faculty on its own. You're pushed to become your own self, create something new, establish something here at Belmont, and you'll have the full support of it and endless possibilities.
And I feel like everyone's just so happy to see what you're working on or what you're up to. Like, people are very kind and welcoming. You feel right at home when you come in.
All right, we did get a question in the chat. I'm not sure if anyone identifies as queer, but there is a question: is there a strong queer community on campus? I don't know if anybody feels like they can speak to that.
I don't know if I can speak to that myself. I'm not a member of that community, but I know that there is a very strong community on Belmont's campus. Being a liberal arts college and a very artsy college, we get a lot of members of that community, and we have a lot of organizations to ensure that those members are involved in our community and appreciated and welcomed as all students are. One of the great organizations we have is called Bridge Builders, and they work to ensure that those students get the resources they need and are treated in the same respect and love that all Belmont students are. That's one of the ones on campus we have. There's recently been a new one created off campus called the Boulevard. I'm not sure the exact name, but they work with that as well as a sort of a community to build that, which is some really, we have a lot of organizations like that. I know there's always a lot of worry when people hear that we're a Christian campus about that aspect of things. But I found, as a non-Christian student myself, that those students are always welcomed, and that they're loved and appreciated, and that there's never any hatred towards them in any way, which is really good.
All right, and then I wanted to ask you all, How did you get involved in campus? Was it your freshman year? Did it take you a little while to find your community here on campus? What was that experience like for you?
I got involved. I started getting involved during my junior year. It was also during COVID during my junior year, but it's very easy to get involved on campus. There's always stuff being put out. I think one way for me to get involved on campus was just keeping up with various social medias of Belmont, and they're always putting out applications or events coming up, and just being willing to like go and try it out. You don't have to like it, just go and try it out. Maybe like your next best friend is there waiting for you. So that's how I go involved, just showing up at events. And even if it's like just 10 minutes, show up, see what they're doing and learn more.
I am one person that likes to overcommit myself and tend to say yes to a lot of things. Don't recommend it. But when we have Bruin Link Fair, which happens a couple weeks to once you move in on campus, almost every club and organization we have on campus, and there is a lot of them, line up outside on the lawn and like by the fountain and outside of the Curb Event Center, and you get to go around and meet members of the organization, the executive board. I signed up for just about every club, even things that like the game club. I don't play games like that, but I signed up for it. And then after that, I just kind of went to some meetings. And then throughout my freshman year, I kind of weeded out the ones that I knew, like I'm actually passionate about this and I want to continue on with that. And even as a junior, I feel like there's still new clubs I'm discovering. Like I just started getting involved with Japanese Culture Club, even though they've been on campus for a minute. Like I'm a junior and I'm just not getting involved with that. So it's never too late for you to join clubs. And I say get involved with as much as you can, as long as it's healthy, and then kind of figure out where your spot is, like what works for you. Because in college, you're still figuring out who you are, what your interests are, what you like to do, what your hobbies are. Like I was a part of Christian Songwriters my freshman year, but now that's not necessarily a passion of mine. So like it's okay for you to change your mind and kind of figure it all out. It's what undergrad is for. And thankfully, you have so many options at Belmont that help you kind of, color in between the lines and figure some stuff out.
For me, this is actually my first panel here at Belmont. I didn't really get involved in anything till this semester actually, but there's no such thing as late. How it happened was I showed up to one of the meetings that we've had for our Hispanic Student Association, and we were talking about some ideas and such in our meeting as a group of like 40. I spoke my mind on some ideas, and funny enough, the assistant director of admissions, Caroline, she was there, and she asked me, "Do you want to be part of this panel?" I'm like, "You know what? Why not? Sure, yeah." And it's not hard to get on. It's not hard to be a part of Belmont as a whole. I think I can show a pretty good example of that.
I wanted to see what made you all ultimately choose Belmont. What hesitations did you have? What questions did you kind of ask when you were at the stage of the process in your senior year, or you were transferring before you transferred, that were important to you in making a decision about coming to Belmont?
Yeah, it was, I never got the chance to visit Belmont. I was supposed to come and visit in spring of 2020, but because of COVID, that got canceled, and I never saw Belmont before I came. And I had actually never been to Nashville before I came to move into my dorm my freshman year. So it was a hard decision for me, especially because Belmont was the only college that I had applied to that I never got the chance to tour or see at all. And so I really talked to a lot of students. The Office of Admissions really helped me connect with a lot of students at Belmont, and they just always raved about how well everybody fits in and how welcome everybody is. And that was just something I was really eager try and find out. And that's kind of just what made me make my final decision to come to Belmont.
My two options to go to school, all in all reality, were Berklee College of Music and Belmont University as a whole. And I was pretty much set in stone that music business is what I wanted to do, right? And I was down to choosing either or, and I was ready to go wherever. But what really stood out is when I did my campus tour here back in, I believe it was February of 2020, the biggest thing was that they said is that you're getting a professional education here. If you're going to study music business, you're going to get a bachelor's of business and administration, not like some of these other schools like Frost or Berklee College of Music, where they just give you somewhat like of a liberal arts degree or a science degree. But here you are getting a formal education and you will graduate as a business student. And that is very good in terms of your backup. And that's one big thing. And for private institution, if it's, you can't beat the price for private institution. So, and especially with everything that's here in Belmont, it's shocking to see the price, that it's not like $70,000 a year like these other institutions. So that really does stand out.
I think for me as an international student, I also never got the chance to like tour Belmont or anything. I literally like showed up first week, and on Wednesday classes were like up and rolling. So I never really got the experience to see. But my biggest question coming in, because it was like my first time to come to the States, it was literally like my first time of everything as a freshman. My biggest question was, how is this gonna look like for me? What this is like gonna be my next 4 years of life? What does life look like here? And how does the community look like? How is it gonna go for me, honestly? And coming in, that question was honestly answered. Like the first semester I was here, I got to see different things like work out for me that I didn't even like really think would, engagement being one of them. I'm a big introvert. So I didn't really see myself even going out there, but just even meeting the person next to me in class, and like after that being like, let's go out to coffee, let's do this. They like really pushed me to get out there and get my own community.
Thank you all. And what piece of advice would you have for incoming students to find their communities on campus? What's something that you wish that you may have known, or some encouragement that you can offer our incoming students?
I would say attend events. Like sometimes it feels like you don't want to do it, but that is like the biggest way to like find your community. Say yes, just try it out, even if for 10 minutes. You don't have to like it, just go and see what it's about. And that's how I made friends. So I think that's the easiest way to do it.
I definitely agree. It's more of the whole thing where it's like, screw it. What do you got to lose? A little bit of your time. And sometimes you'll even run into people that are like, whoa, you're part of this organization. That's cool. And it's one big thing is, don't be stuck in your dorm all day doing nothing. And just go out, even if that's just hanging out. If you're gonna do homework, don't do it in your dorm. Go do it at the library. Go do it at the Starbucks or something like that. And funny enough, you'll meet a lot of people that can probably be the most beneficial for you in terms of your career, in small little places, to hang out. And you just be surprised of who you can run into nowadays. It's a small world.
Yeah, that's all so great. The one thing, and it's kind of exactly what Gilbert was saying, was just, for me, it was just talking to people. Most students at Belmont are just so friendly, and they're willing to just talk to you. And whether that's just going up to somebody that's like walking by themselves and just talking to them, or if you're in the cafeteria, just sitting with somebody who's not sitting with anybody, those are just like such great ways to get to know people and find people, especially your freshman year. Just meeting random people. because Belmont's really good about that. Being such a small campus, but with such a large population for a small campus, you see a lot of the same people every day, but you never, like, you always see somebody new. And if you can take that opportunity when you see somebody new to make a new friend, then it's going to get you a long way here, especially if you're like a business major or a music business major, is it's all about connections. And Belmont, being the school it is, there's connections everywhere. And so if you take the moment to meet people, it can really help you out in a lot of ways.
I forgot to add on, Belmont, if you are pursuing a music career or anything in any industry, Belmont has a plethora of just connections. And it's one of those things where you need to have initiative in terms of doing it. Nobody's really going to hand it to you. If you really want to find a connection for, like, let's say that you want to do an internship in Live Nation, you got to go to your advisor, request that. There's a lot of digging. There's a lot of work you got to put in, but you'll get those connections and you'll be set up. I basically tell everybody, I don't see any reason why anybody that graduates from Belmont does not get a job right after. Belmont really does take care of their students in that future career, and those connections that you could make, and somewhat finding out and discovering what you're good at and what you want to do.
All right, and then I have a final question, and we'll let anybody who is participating or attending the event ask any questions last minute that you have. But I would love to know from our student panelists, what experiences or what things have shaped your identity as a student here on campus?
I would say for me, it's really just knowing who you are. And that's like that was what you asked, but getting the chance to know, more importantly, who you're not. Whether that's you talk to people and you learn, like, oh, maybe those aren't my kind of people. You get to know them and you get to know that you're not part of that group, and you know that is who you're not. And so being able to meet somebody or have those conversations, whether that's in a classroom, I know the first year seminar class, your first semester at Belmont, really helps to grow your sense of identity and find who you truly are. And so knowing where you fit in really relies around knowing where you don't fit in.
As a global leadership major, being Belmont has like kind of a way you can engage and lead students into like mission and service all over the state. It could be like local, Nashville, or anywhere. I just led a trip to the Appalachia, and it was great. That is something that has shaped me as a leader, just knowing my leadership style, knowing what I love, and it really like helped me build my passion for serving my communities and like giving back. So that's something that really helped me as a leader and grew my skills.
So for me, I had this mentality of I'm not really sure what I want to do in the industry. I know that I wanted to go into Latin music, very big thing, but I was kind of open to these other styles of music as well, just to hear them out, you know. And this is not a negative thing at all, but I found out that I did not want to be a part of country music, not into the style. But it really does help you realize that, and it's good to somewhat run into these things, because now it just makes you it closes your vision as to what you want to pursue. And these things are very important in terms of realization. You can do all these things and find a lot of things can make you happy, but at the end of the day, if they're not efficient to you, you run into a block there. So it not only helps you find your identity, but it also helps you find your career passions and what you want to achieve in your life after college.
All right, thank you all for your insights, and thanks to those of you who are joining us this evening from afar. We appreciate you spending time with us, and for our students and staff who have given our time to talk to our students as well. But for those of you who ask questions that are related to different services or about your personal application, I will connect with you after this meeting to share some of those resources with you individually. But feel free to respond to the email that you got to us. If you have any questions following this event, we're happy to chat with you. And just wanted to remind you that there is one more Belmont Live event about new student orientation next Tuesday evening, same time, and you'll receive an email invitation for that event too if you're interested in joining. But we hope you all have a great evening, and thank you for joining us. We hope to see you on campus this fall. Thank you all.
Thank you. Have a good
Bye,
night.
everyone.